September marks National Preparedness Month, a time to encourage national hazard planning. I talked with disaster expert Monica Sanders, who's teaming up with Clorox to raise awareness about preparing for national hazards and weather emergencies. Good morning, Monica. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing great, Brad.
Okay, let's talk about, of course, preparing for disasters. We know that literally in the last couple months, we've seen quite a few throughout the United States. So being prepared is so important right now, isn't it?
Absolutely. We've got people recovering from wildfires, preparing for wildfires. Over here on the East Coast, we're watching what may end up being a dangerous hurricane forming in the Atlantic. And so with increased severity and frequencies, you want to make sure that you and your family and loved ones know what to do before something happens.
Yeah. Let's talk about after something happens. And of course, well, I'm sorry, I jumped the gun. Essentials to be prepared for, of course, these hazardous activities out there.
Yeah, you want to have your go kit ready or emergency kit. And so what's in that? You're going to have 3 to 7 days of water and non-perishable food, a first aid kit. If you take prescriptions, make sure you get a refill of your prescription medication, and that's in the kit. You want to make sure that you have power banks or a solar charger for your devices. Also, I tell people, take photos of important documents like insurance policies, identification deeds, and store it on the cloud on your phone, and also put hard copies in your Go Kit. Also, don't forget to go to the ATM and get cash and either fill up or charge your car if it's electric, because unfortunately when something happens, often the power goes out. So there's no Apple Pay and there's no power at the pump. So you want to make sure you're ready for that in case it happens.
Yeah. You know, I have a hand radio still, and a lot of people laugh at me, but that is one thing to have. I mean, like you said, if our phones go down or anything goes down, they're going to contact us through, of course, the radio and stuff, which is so important.
Absolutely. That's a great tool to have on hand. And you can still pick those up at your hardware store. So if you have a hardware store near you, go and get a hand radio.
Yeah. Okay, let's now talk about, of course, cleaning up after a disaster and some things that we can do around the house. It's kind of easy if we don't have a major problem at our house, right?
Exactly. So you want to leave the big cleanup to the professionals. But after an event, you want to make sure that you have some Clorox disinfecting bleach, because whether you're worried about water events or there's been water used in your house after fire, you want to make sure you take care of any mold or mildew before it becomes a problem. So bleach is great for that. And also, like you said, for the light touch, Clorox disinfecting wipes to remove debris and dirt from surfaces and get your house back ready to come back to. Those are great tools to have on hand for post-disaster cleanup.
Yeah, and you know, that's also good when, you know, again, even if we have a small flood without a hazard or a major thing, is to use that Clorox to make sure we're getting the house cleaned up. So important there.
Yep, absolutely, because after there's been any kind of water, you definitely don't want, whether you're a homeowner or a renter, you don't want mold to collect in the house, because that turns into a big issue. And so bleach is a great tool to make sure that you get rid of that.
Yeah. What are some things that people overlook when they are cleaning up?
So first of all, cleanup is never to be done alone. Make sure that you're checking in with your state or local emergency manager, and also the power company, so that you're aware of anything like down power lines and that kind of thing. Also, a lot of times disaster areas are isolated. So you want to make sure that friends and family know who you are and that you're going and doing this with neighbors. So a lot of times people forget that this is a group activity. And the other thing you want to make sure that you don't forget about is, if you have your pets with you or you sent them to a pet-friendly shelter, somewhere like that, to check in on your pets. So prepare and think about your pets before, during, and after emergencies.
I think the very important things we need to know. Monica, where can we find more information?
You can get more preparedness tips on Clorox.com. People should also download your app. I always say keep your local news and weather apps or alerts on your phone so you know what's going on immediately around you.
Perfect. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much. Have a great rest of the day.